In 1976, there was a shutdown on September 30th. Remember, September 30th is the last day of the fiscal year. How long was the shutdown? 10 days. In 1977, there were 3 separate government shutdowns. One lasted 12 days, one lasted 8 days, and another one lasted 8 days, and they were almost back to back. That's 28 days in a 3-month period. And look, America it still survived. Here we are. In 1978, excuse me, the government shut down for 17 days. That's under Jimmy Carter. In 1979, the government shut down 11 days. That was under Jimmy Carter. In 1981, the government shut down 2 days. In 1982, the government shut down 1 day, and then a month later shut down for another 3 days. In 1983, the government shut down for 3 days. In 1984, the government shut down for 2 days, and then shortly thereafter for another day. In 1986, the government shut down for 1 day. In 1987, it shut down for 1 day. Now, I want you to think about this. During the Reagan administration, the government shut down 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, a total of 14 days. On how many different occasions? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, on 8 different occasions. Because Reagan was trying to cut the size of government. And then you hear liberals and even Republicans today say, well, the government grew under Reagan. He fought them tooth and nail, which we don't do anymore. In 1990, under George H.W. Bush, the government shut down once for 3 days. And then in 1995, under Clinton, the government shut down twice. The first time for 5 days, and the second time for 3 weeks, for 21 days. And since then, there has not been a government shutdown because George W. Bush did everything he could to avoid it. So he massively grew the federal government. And of course, Obama threatens to shut down the government, but the Republicans do everything they can to avoid it. So Obama has massively grown the government. I'm giving you this information to try and give a little bit of context to all of this. Government shutdowns are not the end of the world because essential personnel still work. The military, law enforcement, intelligence agencies, the checks in the Social Security Administration, the checks for Medicare, they all keep going out. There's actually a large percentage of the workforce, not a majority, but a large percentage of the workforce that's considered essential. And the government determines what's essential. Not only that, when we talk about a government shutdown, it's really a misnomer. The whole government doesn't shut down. Certain parts of the government are excluded as a matter of federal law. So when Obama runs around screaming at the top of his lungs that we have to pay our bills, there's always enough money to pay the on-budget immediate debt service, not the unfunded liabilities, which Obama never wants to talk about. Then he doesn't want to pay the bills. So the debt service, the interest, they're covered first. Social Security checks, Medicare checks, they're covered next. Military, law enforcement, intel, and the VA, they're covered too, as a matter of statute. And in any event, of course, Congress could say, even on their own, we're going to fund these, but not the rest. But what happens in situations like this is the Democrats try and scare people. And this is why the Republicans are so nervous. Even supporters who call this what are we going to do politically? Well, it's interesting to me that the last time this happened in 1995, as I explained last week, we gained 2 Senate seats. We lost 9 House seats, but we lost 9 House seats because in the prior House cycle, we gained over 50 seats. So we were going to lose some of the seats. So it wasn't a political disaster. I'll tell you what I think is the problem. Twofold. Number one, the Republican leaders and even most of the backbenchers are not confident, they're not knowledgeable, and they're not articulate. I think we have among the weakest Republican representatives and senators in Washington in my lifetime. Incapable of explaining the truth. Absolutely marble-mouthed. Number two, I think a lot of the Republicans, like the Bushes, like Rove, like so many of them, they like big government. And they really don't want to fight that hard to stop it. If they can play around on the fringes, they'll play around on the fringes. But the fact is, they're the architects of a massive government before Obama took over and made it even more massive. As I've been saying now, and I think this is important, the Republican Party is basically the party of the status quo. So we have Obamacare, and you can hear these Republicans running around. That's suicide to try and get rid of that through funding. Oh, that's this, that's that. We, the American people, who won the Revolutionary War, who fought a civil war, who won World War II, put a man on the moon, who built the Hoover Dam. We, the American people, who defeated the Soviet Union. And I could go on with 1,000 examples. Suddenly, we're incapable of defending ourselves against a law that was passed several years ago in a past Congress. Suddenly, this is unthinkable. Suddenly, this is disastrous, politically and in every other way. And so we're fed these lies that we can't even defund Obamacare because of the way that it's set up. But of course we can. That it's a political disaster because the president will have the upper hand. And that should tell you right now that we need to remove a whole bunch of these Republicans because they are incapable of going on the offense and making the case for the people when it comes to their own health care, when it comes to Obamacare, which the people despise in all walks of life. And the Republicans can't even make the case. Well, that tells me we need new Republicans. Because first and foremost, we need statesmen. And if you can't take an unpopular law that a broad section of the American people don't want, Democrat, Republican, union, non-union, so forth and so on, and you're constantly operating in fear, and you're constantly operating in ignorance because you don't really want to look at what happened in 1995, or you want to pretend otherwise, and you're constantly deceiving yourselves and the American people about what is possible, well, what do we need you for? We don't. Mike Lee will be on this program in about a half hour. He announced his plan to defund Obamacare first on this program over a week ago. We want to get an update on this. But the fact is, there's so many Republican quislings. I don't expect the Democrats to support defunding. The Democrats impose this on us. They're hopeless, useless. But what's the Republican explanation? Their point about the politics of it is dead wrong. Their point about the inability to actually defund it is dead wrong. And they're trying to deceive us through various mouthpieces in the so-called conservative media.